Hello out there, retro coders. We're back again, part 3 of our live coding session, creating a very simple version of a horizontal shooter for the ZX Spectrum. Now, I normally forget to say this part, but if you're brand new to coding and you're just looking at this video thinking, I want to get started, but what the hell's he on about? Well, look at my YouTube Retro Coder TV and go to the playlist Beginners Assembly Language. The very start of that shows you how to set up this dev environment with the compiler Pasmo, and it works very smoothly. It's very easy to set up, uses very little space on your hard drive, and yeah, it's like a short video, shows you how to do that. And there's also a sort of 10-part series where we just draw sprites to the screen using UDGs and other very beginner tasks. So take a look there when you got some spare time. Here we're creating this game, and we had this problem last night where oops, I've just written something. We had this problem last night where it was leaving artifacts on the screen from bullets, stuff like that. I've taken a long look at the code while I've been at work. I've had it on my phone as a text file, and I've been looking at it. I've got some ideas how to sort this out, don't you worry. What we are going to do is I'll show you the game running. Just compile it, make sure it all works. Yes, it does. It should do. So I don't think I changed this one. Oh, I did change it in terms of I changed the enemy. We had a sprite that was chopped in half, and now I've made one that just a basic, simple 8x16 sprite. Oh, I forgot to show you. It should, yeah. Do you see how it's losing the graphic? For some reason, if I hold the fire button down. And did you see that artifact getting left behind? There we go, there's another one. So I've got a lot of ideas how to sort this out. Hopefully they work. The very first thing I'm going to do is on the draw bullets. I'm going to sort out and make sure that let's just describe it to you in case someone watches this later and doesn't know what I'm talking about. HL here is a pointer to our bullet bitmap, which is located here. So it's going to draw them that sort of laser beam. Now, for some reason or other, it's getting some random bits and turning it into a mishmash of dots. And that's only on the second bullet. When I hold fire, we can have a maximum of 2 bullets on the screen, and that is when it happens, when the second bullet comes down. So the way I've figured to fix this is just ensure that HL doesn't change at the time we call draw sprite. The way I'm going to do that is it's obviously getting changed in there somehow. There is some magic going on behind the scenes with draw sprite. You know, if you've watched any of my videos, you will have seen that. So I'll do a push and pop, and I'm pretty sure it's going to fix it. Let's test it out. If you're in the chat, say hello, because it says 0 viewers on my thing, but I've noticed it doesn't update very well on my system, that particular notification. Let's see if this works. And yes, it does. Ignore the artifacts, we're going to deal with them in a minute. Alright, so In fact, the artifacts are much less than they were yesterday. For some reason. There's one. And another. Don't know what's causing that. But my idea to fix this, and I hope it works, is and also it's going to speed up our code a lot, this idea I had. We're just going to do it with bullets for now, but the same principle will apply to all the other sprites. Excuse me for that. What I'm going to do is, and what I should have done at the start, is make sure there's less loops going on. So I'm going to actually comment this out in a minute. I'm going to take some of it and I'm going to put it all into delete bullets. I'm actually going to change this to update bullets. Well, before I change it, let's move what I need. So I'm simply going to move my move code to there. The rest of that is all the same. So just straight after I've deleted it, here, no, here, I've just added all that code to move the bullet immediately after deleting it in the same loop. And I think that should make it a lot quicker. So just bear with me while I do this. Well, the good news is it still works, but the bad news is it didn't fix the artifacts. What I'm going to do is rename that to update, and I'm going to get used to deleting and moving all in my update function. Oops. So I'm just using find and replace. There's no such thing as refactoring in this. You have to make sure as well it's only looking in this one file, in this particular VS Code app. As far as I know, you can't set it to look at all documents. Anyway, let's not get sidetracked. It's important I don't mess this up. Hold on. Yeah, that's all good. I think in that one I just need this. Wait a minute. I'm not messing with the draw. We're not even moving the enemies yet. Just kind of thinking maybe the draw code should go above the update. No. But the spawn code, that's the least important thing to get checked. Just see that. Oh. 969. Player movement. Spawn bullet is undefined. Oh. Oh, what have I done? I renamed that wrong. I shouldn't have. Stupid. Very stupid. I thought I was talking about spawn enemies. Which is there. Alright, that's fine. So we don't get much of that artifact anymore. Oh, we do them over here for some reason. I think it might be to do with the speed of the program. Just wonder if I only put one enemy. Just for a minute. Still does it. Nowhere near as bad. Seems to be right there, it does it. It's weird. My other solution to this was to actually stop deleting a sprite before we move it, and instead just, where am I? instead just delete everything. Just delete make sure every pixel is 0, and then draw it. It's going to use a lot more processor though, isn't it? I really thought that optimization there where I just removed 2 loops, or maybe just 1. Actually, we didn't have the second moving code yet. But I got rid of an entire loop, but it didn't seem to make a huge difference. So I guess let's write a routine to clear the entire screen. I'm going to save this and put it onto GitHub so that I can always roll back to this exact state easily. I'm going to call it before adding screen clear function. That'll do. I can always find that now. Because this code does work, but just for some reason it's not deleting the bullet sprite properly. Bullet speed, just wonder. I'll try 8. I'm going to try a few different values here. It's too slow for the game, and it still has that problem. I'm going to try one that isn't power of 8, or power of 2 I should say. Just the exact same. So I'll change that back to 16 for now. I mean, we don't need to worry about the order we wipe the screen. It's one good thing. We can just go through all the memory one by one. But I'm sure it's not going to be that good doing this, but just trying to think of the best way of doing the screen memory, like iterating through it. Alright, so it's hexadecimal 4000 is the start. Let's write that right up here. Alright, so we actually probably only need to worry about the upper nibble, or the upper bytes actually, of that 16-bit value. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come up with a way of doing it with just 8-bit. Or at least just an 8-bit comparison. So let me think, because I can just create constants for that. That's fine. Let's load. Let's just use HL. We can change it, but we need HL in the end. It's probably better not using HL. Let's use DE. This is just going to iterate. Starting there. And obviously I'll make a constant for this in a minute. Do you know what? I need to start a file called constants.asm. I'm going to save that in my util folder, which is inside the game root. So that's its address. So I'll add it here. Because I don't know why I keep writing these same constants over and over again. It's pointless. So that can go there for a start. And that'll do. And then for color memory, I'm going to call it attribute memory start, but I only want it as an 8-bit upper. I want the upper byte only as a constant so that I can check it. I can compare the two, which is that. Okay. I mean, I could save myself some processing power, can I? And just load D with that. As long as I knew E was 0. I'm going to do that for simplicity for now. Okay. Trying to inline this, but I'll probably end up having to break it out into a routine. So I'll make sure A is 0. Can I ink DE? Wait a second. Just checking my reference guide. Yeah, I can. I don't see any reason not to just do this in DE then. So I'm poking 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 into the 8-bit value stored in that 16-bit address. Does that make sense? And then I'll just increment the pointer by 1. I need to compare D to that constant there somehow. So I'm going to look at my reference again just to check the quickest way to compare the two. And I'll probably have to use the accumulator somewhere. Excuse me. I'll load A with D and I'll compare to attribute memstart upper byte constant. And if it is, we've finished. I'm just thinking whether I can inline this or whether I should just break it out. Well, if it's not equal to that, the Z flag will be not set, reset. So that means NZ. So if they're not equal, we can jump back to clear pixels. And if it is equal, it will just ignore that and carry on. So that's going to happen every frame. And in order to, I mean, I'm sure that's going to use a lot of the memory. That's a big amount of loops it's got to go through. I need to get rid of all the delete calls, even though they don't really, they probably don't use that much processing power. Did I delete? Yeah. So currently this whole loop does nothing, but we will need it in a minute, so I'll leave it there. Don't even need to delete the player anymore. Alright. So, I mean, as far as I can tell, that's going to work. Well, let's wait and see. We've got major flickering now, but hopefully we'll find at least. I don't know why it's also moving to there for some reason when you're near the edge. I think we're too near the bottom of the screen. But other than that particular spot, it's all good. Got to find a way of speeding this code up though. I wonder if there's a way of making this only happen, say every 50 frames, or no, say every 25 frames, so that the artifact might happen, but it would only be there for half a second at the most. That might be a good compromise. I think I need to get into double buffering to get any further out of this particular thing. A couple of things I'm going to try. I'm going to leave it as it is for now. I'm going to move the player position up a bit. It's always worth compiling after each change just to see how that affects. See, I think, no, it hasn't fixed it. I don't know what's happening there. It's only if you hold the fire button. The second one seems to lose position. Very, very odd. It's only in that spot. I mean, actually, I'm tempted just to restrict the game area to here. Still does it, look. Weird. Oh, so it could be when you're in a certain, like, overlapping two character cells in such a way. It's doing it even more than ever, really. Just out of interest as well, if I get rid of most of the enemies, how does it behave? Exactly the same. Let's try doubling the enemies. I can't tell if that's the same or worse. About the same. In that case, I'll leave this commented out, but it's clearly not a good enough solution to do that. We need to come up with double buffering to eliminate all the flickering and to hopefully figure out. I need to figure out what's going on with these bullets in a minute. Yeah. So that's it, back to how it was, but obviously we've got a lot more. Okay, that's bloody weird, that. Can't make sense of that. Just in certain positions. Where we draw the bullet, here. It's got to be here. Draw sprite. We're destroying BC, calling that, which also destroys stuff. But at no point do we change. Oh, this might help. This might help. Push IX. Pop IX. This might actually help. No. weird. What the hell's causing it? Well, at least we figured out our texture issue. Sometimes I just want to visualize it. It's to do with crossing over character cells and holding the fire button. It doesn't work if it doesn't happen if I'm in the right spot and then I hold the button. But if I move halfway between, but it's not too bad. I think we could do some collision detection using this. This will be alright. I mean, our collision detection algorithm is going to kill the processor even more. We need to go in and check this loop with this loop. It's real tricky. Spawn enemy wave needs to be moved up. I keep looking for it up high. Wait a minute. Where do we ever load IY? Spawn bullet. This is our problem. Oh, here. So that's what's causing it. Losing that somehow. How does this work? I'm going to move constants out of the way a bit. Doesn't get incremented ever to the next one along. Okay, it looks for a live one. Here we increment it. Alright. Hello Moz mate, how are you? Good to see you. I'm struggling a little bit here. only with little niggles. The general game is sort of working. And boiling, yeah. Well, here when I'm streaming, I close my window so that I don't like wake up all the neighbours with it, and also get like a dog barking or something in the background, and it makes me completely bake with my headphones on sometimes. But hey, this is a struggle here. Because that actually does look alright to me, what's going on there. Just going to try observe it again and see if I can sort of figure out what it is. So look, we're in a character cell and holding it, it's fine. If I move here, like I'm pretty sure I'm in a character cell still, it's fine. But if I'm holding fire, then I move, and I find like a horrible spot I don't like, that happens. As soon as I let go of fire now and press it, but look, yeah, it still messes up here. But I can see why people had games where you could only have one bullet. It would run a lot faster. The collision would work a lot faster as well, because I wouldn't have to do like a nested loop. Might change it, you know. It's a cop out, innit? My middle name. Either way, it's taking I'm gonna have to change a lot of code. I think I'd rather have multiple bullets, because let's say tomorrow I might be able to start implementing double buffering after I read about that, and then this might all work fine, or it might need completely rewriting. I don't know. Why is it? Because I've actually locked the character. Like, speed is, where is it? Speed is 16, so he goes 2 character cells only. I don't see how he can even not be within a character cell. But it's strange, because you'd think it wouldn't be smooth with that. But it looks pretty smooth. It doesn't look like it's moving 2 character cells at a time. Certain spots it just hates. It's bloody weird. I made a function to clear all of the screen instead of just deleting the thing behind the sprites as they move, but even that, although it didn't leave these artifacts anymore, the bullet was still doing that thing where it comes out of the wrong place like that. The only thing holding the bullet's data, bullet's position data, is IY here. Or IX actually. Perhaps that's it. I can't see this making any difference, but I'll try it. No, if that may be worse, but about the same. Damn it. When I was looking at the code at work, I thought that by merging the two, I merged the move and the delete functions, saved a big amount of loop, and I thought to myself, oh, that's going to fix that issue. Did fix the other issue with a push and pop. I bet that's all it needs is somewhere push and pop. Push pop. Yeah, well, it would be. Definitely a debugger would be helpful. Although I'm struggling to think of what I would do with a debugger right now. I mean, normally when I do debugging, when I'm debugging code, where it's not like a small bug, like a memory, I'm not trying to save memory, I'm trying to fix like literally a problem because I don't fully understand the language, if you know what I mean. So really all I find useful is putting like log entries and printing values of certain, like I'm going to a different language I'm talking about now, you know, what value is position X right now, and then you see it change and you're like, oh okay, see why it's changing now. I mean there is debuggers. I could start doing this. You can't even see it, but there's an overlay debugger. Yeah, you can't even see it. It actually has everything. I wonder if I can quickly show you it. What I'm on about. Yeah, that. So views has that, but you single step. I don't understand it, mate. And the single step doesn't seem to step forward anything until you press continue. So it's point. I don't know. But that's a start of how you would use a debugger. But oh, that's not going away when I close it. There we go. Oh, it's so strange, man. It's only when we seem to be crossing a cell, so it's something to do with that Y2 pix or something. Next line down or something. DE. Where do I actually move the bullet? Of course we use IX at the same time. Yeah, it's a separate routine in it, so we've loaded IX now with it. God. So it's right here. I can only imagine it's there. Sort of shooting in the dark now. No. Teases you, it makes you think it worked for a little while. Register some flags, yeah. I mean, it seems to me in my brain that somehow that we load A with IX2 and then just subtract some speed, which is a constant anyway, and then load it back. In between time, like you say, the flags are getting called and checked. Kill bullet, loads IX. Go to next does increase the IX. Try that. Also, that didn't seem to make any difference. Let's get rid of that. It's a bugger. What a git. I don't think that made any difference. I'm going to get rid of it. This is a bit of another stab in the dark, but let's try pushing IX at this point and popping it here. No. Oh god, goodness me. Crushed the entire computer with that. Interesting. Just try that. Like I say, I really am stabbing in the dark. Oh, I can't even think why that's why that's happening when I'm doing that. Damn it! It's gonna be time for gaming quite soon. I'm gonna, if I don't solve this by the end of the stream, I'm gonna probably try and do it behind, off the scene, and just show how I fixed it. But I'd love to get it done beforehand, before we stop. So yeah, with a lack of debugger, or a lack of knowing how to use a debugger, I'm just going to study it again, see if I can figure out. It just stopped up there, it's so straight. So when I hold when I hold it, it's moving somehow, and that's why it's not getting deleted. It's changing that value in there somehow. It's only when I hold the button. So let's trace it back from here. It's this button here. I mean, that's straightforward, isn't it? Timer, return. If it's less than the interval, that's fine. It's the second time a bullet is spawned, isn't it? You press it twice. I'm going to have to copy that back over to here so we can see it. I'm just out of interest. I'm going to try compiling it, see how it behaves now I've moved it. Exactly the same. Excuse me. I think that actually looks like it should work. I really do. Because it checks, and if it finds that the bullet's alive, it jumps straight to here, just increments the pointer and checks the next bullet. So if it found 2 alive, it'd get to here and then it would return. But if it finds the second one is dead, it'll get to here, but it already would have had that incremented. So it really should be fine. Once it finds that, it changes the is alive ball to 1, takes IX. Is IX getting changed anywhere during this? That must be what it is. If I'm holding fire down, this just gets continually called, I guess. I wonder if I could just move the position of that in main. Check keys. Do I want to do it before or after I delete? Maybe before I do anything, so that IX doesn't get changed. I don't know. Huh. Whoa. And the bullet problem still does exist. That's a strange one. Oh, of course. I thought I put it all in one, but the player, there's only one, so it hasn't got that loop. It would have to go there. Or I guess I could just move all that. But like I say, the problem still was there, wasn't it? Oh, what a bummer. I had envisioned that I was going to come back, sort that out within about 20 minutes, and then start on collision detection. Funky, innit? Yeah. It is only in certain angles. I mean, if you're ever in a real adventurous mood, I've put it onto GitHub. I'll literally upload it now, so it's in this state. And you could just have a look at it yourself, but it's up to you. I'm going to definitely be fiddling around with this on my own tomorrow when I'm just alone. Maybe I'll be able to figure it out then, but at the moment it's mind-boggling. I'm pretty sure in my mind it's just a push IX and pop IX somewhere in the right place to solve this. Because was it in here? It takes IX plus 1 during our fire function, which is, if we're holding it, it's getting called literally every frame, bang, bang, bang. And it gets called just before. Where's delete bullet? It's in there. If we were going to pop IX here, where would we want to push it from? Spawn bullet, spawn bullet. Of course, in this scenario, in this function, IX is referring to the player's position, which is actually fine here. But this is what's causing it to mess up, I'm sure. So I've popped it there, I've got to push it somehow. Well, I guess that's in a loop. I can only really pop it here. I'll push it, I mean, it's going to not do anything good for us. I'm going to have to try it now. Ah, it teased me, I thought I'd solved it for a second. I could be barking up the wrong tree entirely. As far as I see, that should be the player. Well, I tell you what, we can test it by. Yeah. Now we know it was always. I mean, it might mess something else up now. So it's nothing to do with that, is it? Still coming out in the wrong place. Mental, isn't it? No. I can't imagine. What a shame. Struggling with it. Kind of makes me want to try a completely different system, because I feel that although we've got that problem is with the X position, isn't it? So really, the spectrum memory isn't that much to do with it, I don't think, because that's more of the Y where that gets really messed up. Just out of interest now, if I had like 4 bullets, that's a 4. And then the interview, of course, we're running at 17 frames per second right now. So the interval really, I want really low. Let's just do 17 divided by 4. The problem just still exists exactly the same, but feels like a better game already. So it's coming out of the wrong place, just there. Only when you hold the button. Perhaps I have to roll this in, separate it somehow, so I can sort of correctly order it better. You know what I mean? This ain't gonna work again, but I'm doing it anyway. Still doing it. Most odd. So pretty much well established it's nothing to do with IX getting corrupted. And IY, I mean, gets loaded right there. Like, okay, more caveman debugging coming up. Let's no. Well, let's just try this a second. Put a constant in there. So it's gonna just always fire from there. But let me see, does this area of the screen mess that up? No. So it's clearly working. In fact, like, you know, it's not IY either, is it? Because it's setting IY there. IY is not getting like changed here. It's weird. I don't know, mind boggling me. Might as well leave that there. So in main, it updates the bullets. I'm at a loss. It's actually like a specific offset that's getting added as well, isn't it? So maybe it is working fine, but for some reason it thinks it's a bit further over than it actually is. I mean, this is just me being stupid again. Just gonna load DE instead. No good. Change it back. Damn it, damn it. Don't want to let it beat me. Might have to end it soon. I found the ultimate ZX Spectrum game. It is a homebrew. Not quite sure when it came out, very recently I think. Mighty Final Fight. It looks amazing. Because I was recommending people to play it on the NES. But someone's hacked it into the Spectrum, which I'm amazed about. Quite anxious to try that out. I can't get it loading in Fuse, but I've loaded it in another emulator. Oh wow. The thing is, I found Castlevania so hard even on NES, so I'm sure it'd be too hard for me. But if I was a fan of that series, I'd be well happy with that. I always wish there was more NES games getting ported back. One day, you never know, one day, port one. Because I do want to learn a little bit of NES homebrew as well. You know, I'm happy just to make some sort of simple Space Invaders clone like this. This is all I try and do normally when I work on a system like this. You gain quite a bit of knowledge and like just getting into the habit, don't you, of doing things just by messing around. But I feel like I've hit a brick wall here, I must be honest. I'd love to be able to post this code somewhere and say, please help. It definitely is the best way. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love to read as well, especially if you're not at the computer. You can learn a lot from reading and actually properly reading a good book about it, you know, but not, you still have to put it into practice. You can't read a whole book and remember it without doing anything in between. But I remember that book with the elf in it that I showed in one of my first videos when I didn't know anything about assembly language and I read them first few chapters. It made me really understand it. I think I'd already read one other book about it and not fully understood it. But then the second time around when I read him with his analogies and that, I understood it. And then, like you say, you just learn by doing because you learn you can't move certain registered values around into other ones. And nice. I haven't had the money or space to ever be a collector, although I've always been interested in all retro computing, you know. But never in my life have I been able to. I mean, recently I have bought a NES and I've got like 10 games for it, but it's all in a shoebox. It's not out or anything. But I'm gonna get there one day. I used to have so much stuff that was worth a lot of money now. Like I had a Spectrum with a whole suitcase, not a suitcase, like a briefcase style thing, full of games, you know. And same with the C64, and an Amiga with like a million copied games. I had quite a few legit games as well, but it all just went. I don't know where it went. Good job, man. That is awesome. Screw the banks, isn't it? That's brilliant, mate. Yeah, I never got nothing like that. I bought a telescope once, but it was crap. I got it off someone second hand for about 30 quid, and you know, I've seen people on Twitter take better pictures of the moon with their camera, you know. But their camera was probably about 500 quid, to be fair. Well, I'll tell you what, anyone watching this in the future, even if this is months down the line, if you ever download off GitHub and figure this out, please tell me. You'll be a genius. I'm gonna try tomorrow, of course. I'm gonna session it. When I wake up, I won't stream. Yeah, thanks, man. Normally it's something stupid, isn't it? Like just including a load somewhere or something. But I kind of feel like I just have to delete this and start again. But I really don't want to do that. Of course, it's on GitHub. Even if I did, it's no biggie getting it back. But obviously, I can't really do that now. An hour into the live code, an hour and 20 minutes. I just delete that. That's just stupid. I'm sure it is just 1 or 2 lines needed somewhere. It's interesting hitting the sort of upper limit of the specs already. Definitely got to look into double buffering. I think that's going to be the next thing I do, is look into double buffering. And then to see if that solves this. I doubt it will. There's something else going on in there. Good shout, man. Good shout. Yeah, that's what I mean. I'll focus on the flicker for a little while. I've always wanted to learn that double buffering. And before I quit Spectrum Dev for a while, I'm definitely going to do at least one project of double buffering. But it would be lovely to explore. Like, I've been reading a tiny bit about the Commodore 64, and it appears you can have like 4 colors on the screen in the squares because of the sprite hardware. So I have to learn about how that works. And also, they don't have 16-bit. Like we have these brilliant 16-bit registers that magically work somehow. And apparently, they don't have that on the Commodore. So that'll be interesting because I've been using them like ever since I started. So, but I might take one look at the Commodore dev. I might do like a few hours of it and think, sod this, I'm off. But I mean, there's a chance I'll get back into C++, doing a few console apps, and then moving that into, I was creating a game engine on my own here. I've lost all that code now, but that was designed to run on low end PCs, so I might end up getting back into that. There's more support for me there as well when I get stuck. The possibilities are limitless. I could go in any direction. Oh really? Atari uses the 6502. Well, that is interesting. I'd love to make an Atari cartridge. I've read about people buying old cartridges and putting their own game on it. That would be awesome. And there's actually quite a good scene about homebrew on Atari. Get yourself well known, couldn't you, if you made a game and uploaded it? Especially if it was a physical release. And they don't have to be that advanced, do they? The games, they have to be very basic. Make ET. Maybe, but I'd struggle with ET because I'd end up having to. I don't know what I'd do. Like inventory's not that hard. I've made games with inventories before, but I tend to lean towards just single screen shooters to start with. It's just so much easier. They are literally endless of possibilities, but at the moment I'm still getting stuck on this just basic stuff. I've seen it on Twitter, Pico 8. I don't know what it is. It looks really interesting. Is it a physics engine? It looks to be one, just in the screenshots of it. The GIFs I see. It seems to be like particle physics is what I see on it most of the time. Oh, okay. So it can run anything basically. For some reason, all I ever see on Twitter in terms of Pico 8 is like a display of a sort of particle system. You know what I mean? Like something will explode into particles, or there'll be balls bouncing around, hitting each other. But that's the kind of stuff you need to learn, if you're going to make decent games from scratch. Yeah, it's interesting. After my flurry so far into 8-bit coding, I must admit I am missing some of the modern functionality that we've got in other languages, and I was still learning them, so that's cool. I mean, that's something we could look at in C++ because that is possible to do. But yeah, it's sort of a needless gimmick. It would take me ages to implement. Yeah, I might take a look at Pico 8. My raw instinct always takes me back to just creating like my own engine in a way. It's what I'm always trying to do, and I don't know why I do it. I always try and code something, and then I end up making it more generic, like more abstract, over and over again. All I want to do is add layers of abstraction all the time. Don't know why. I guess it's because I learned on C# and Java, and everyone was talking about abstraction all the time. But it's slowing me down here a lot, my methods of coding. I'm really disappointed with myself for not figuring out the bullet thing. So, see, the way I see it is the spawn function is working. Because if you stay here, it's fine. And in lots of instances, it's fine. In fact, I think it's... hang on. I think it might be when you press 2 buttons. In particular, move right and fire. Let's push. Can we push AF twice? I think we can. That's going to be a problem though, yeah. This is sort of like a hack to test it. I'm just going to call it get out. Wait. Yeah, it's a jump. That's fine. Right. So if C is reset, that means that he has pressed fire. And I'm now going to make it so you cannot move right. It'll just get out. Okay, so I can't move right, I'm trying to. I'm going to let go of fire and continue holding right. It's fine. Oh, no, it doesn't like it even. It's definitely when you press both keys. I'll delete this monstrosity. I think I'm onto something there though. I mean, I'd love to be able to let them fire and move, but for whatever reason, yeah, you see, it's calling that one, and then that is changing IX+1 as well. So that's what's happening, and it's changing it by 16, which is that amount. So that is what's happening when that bullet comes out from there. It's somehow I'm pressing both buttons and it's doing both of them, but in the wrong sort of order. But there's no real way to change that order without pushing it to the stack and getting it back in some weird way. Like I could. It's really tricky. I don't want to do that if possible. I want to keep them in that order. I guess we could roll right twice and then roll left to get to the fire. Just to reorder it. Let's copy the whole thing. Wait. No, that's lost forever. That's not going to work. Get rid of that. Paste it again. Oh, I thought I copied it. That wouldn't have worked because it gets lost to the carry. So instead, if I wanted to delay that, I guess I'd have to somehow store AF. We store it and don't pop it. Then we roll again, store it again, use it, pop it again. And we push. The push and the pop is just to retain A. It then checks that the carry is 0, which means we've got to press. And it gets A back. Doesn't care about F actually. Roll it to the right. Save A. Roll to the right. Save A on the top of that. Check the carry. After the second pop, we roll again. Then we've got that. Oh. And we don't care about popping or pushing because we're not going to use any more for now. But sorry, I'll just do it anyway. So all I've done is, hopefully, is to switch the order. Probably won't save anything. Let's see if it even works. Still bugged. It's strange that it doesn't actually always fire now. In fact, it hardly ever fires. It's very strange. Anyway, I'm going to delete that junk again. It's been wasting everyone's time. I won't even bother uploading this to YouTube. I'm just being stupid again. I'm going to just get rid of the move right function. And then I'll start us all the way over on the right so I can move into that little spot with left. Still does it. So even though move right is doing nothing, and I was only holding one. Oops, I was only holding one button then. Yeah. Damn. This has proved to be a tricky problem for me. Yeah, I thought I was onto something there. I really did. Really, really did. When I wake up in the morning, I've got to come up with a way of checking just one key. I'm going to have a function called check key A. And I'll have another one completely separate, getting loaded again with all the pointers. I think that's going to be my next step. How long have we been going? Hour and 40. Oh. Let's try it. Can't take that long. And then no matter what, I'll wind it up after that when I play one game. So, I mean, it actually saves us using a stack doing this way. I mean, I could go one step further than this and cache the input values and have a variable here for each one, left pressed, right pressed. That way, you know, that's probably needed for double buffering anyway, because you don't, in most games you don't instantly handle the input. In modern games they cache the values right at the start. You know, they actually have like late update, early update, you know, all that sort of thing. So obviously we're not going to get that complicated, but so that calls move left, and that requires IX, and that's it. So as long as IX, I wish I'd got into more of the habit of commenting, which is what I preach, but I hadn't done it this project, and it's biting me in the ass now. Makes more sense doing it like this, I think, anyway, doesn't it? I mean, yes, we've got to load BC each time. I mean, to be honest, I could, yeah, well, yeah. I should probably put that. I need to start putting that. Try and keep tab of everything that's getting destroyed. Obviously A. I mean, almost everything's gonna destroy A. Whoops, keep pressing the wrong button all this time. I've just messed up my hotkeys. Oh, there we go, it's working now. I'll come back and comment all this soon. That's the movement done. Where do I want to do the firing? Draw bullets. I mean, I cannot see this working. I really can't. I'm still missing whatever the key point here. Oh. Forgot the comma. Dripping teases you, doesn't it, until you get to there. Flipping hell is going on with it? It's mind boggling. Well, actually, I keep changing my mind, but it's something to do with when there's more than one bullet, I think now. Because it was doing it there when I wasn't even moving, left or right. You need a lot more loading. PC with a cross assembler. What company was that then? Microsoft. I'm just betting. There's little between an assembler and a compiler, isn't there? It's pretty similar. A compiler probably includes an assembler or something. I'm not sure myself. Okay, so we're holding fire, and that's the problem. I just can't imagine why though. No way. That's a real shame, but still bonus, yeah. Wow. If only I was 10 years older, maybe I could have got into it like as a serious profession, but I've always been dead interested in it. But when I got to age like 14 or something, I did drop out of interest of it for a long time and then got back into it gradually. Otherwise, I could have been bloody sorted, couldn't I? Even at my age, there was plenty of scope to become a professional programmer of some kind if I'd have really tried. Just kept being lazy, like real life drags you down sometimes, unfortunately, if you let it. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Back then, everyone loved British wrestling. Yeah, if I could go back in time, and I would I mean, obviously there's loads of different options to do that, but if I could convince myself just to focus on, even just focus on one thing that you enjoy doing, it could be anything, but coding's included in that, and then it's anything's possible. I'm not saying anyone can just become a race car driver or anything. For coding, literally anyone who's interested in it, if they put enough effort in from age even 18 onwards, you can still do it. But even if you're 14 and you decide to really go into it, by the time you're sort of 18 or 20, you'll be an absolute pro. But I'm sporadic with it. I do it for 3 months and then I stop. And I've always been like that. Sometimes I'd only do it for 2 days and then stop, but sometimes 6 months. I'm not sure how I've led to doing assembly because it's probably one of the least worthwhile ones. I mean, you do learn a lot about how the system works, like the computer, and all languages basically boil down to a lot of this. Um, I must have, I must admit, I've lost a lot of my knowledge of C++ just from doing this. Oh, did he? So he was very young when he got that job, then probably. Oh, I've heard of Octopus, yeah. That's exactly like my story, pretty much. It sums it up. Except for I stayed in my hometown in Torquay and bummed around like every day was Glastonbury for, for about 10 years, do you know? That's my problem. Good for him though. And it's still possible, even at my age. I'm 38. I'm I've been learning coding for, let's say, 10 years, probably a lot more. But I'm middle on all languages. I'm sure within like a year of really studying one, I could become proficient in one. So there's still jobs to be had, even freelance in it. Wait, maybe one day. But I'm kind of enjoying this video making now. I might try and improve my techniques here, and maybe make another channel one day. Doing something completely different. But I'm enjoying this channel right now. But obviously my coding skills aren't great, and my system limits me down as well. But I definitely want to get into 3D modeling because I can do that already. It'd be good to show off that. Yeah, that would be lovely. Getting a contract of some kind. I mean, I'd have to be literally super proficient. Like, I couldn't be needing help with things. But when I get to that stage where I don't need help with anything or very little, then I will certainly try. Because I'm quite lucky right now. I've had a pretty tough life, but for the last like 3 years, I've had this job where I earn like enough, and I only have to work like 5 hours in the night, so it gives me enough energy to do something like this. Yeah, true that. Everybody I know, no one knows anything, man. And even if I try and talk to them about coding, no one wants to know. Yeah, very true. In fact, I talk to sometimes I bump into people who think they know loads about coding, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, they're going to think I'm a noob when I talk to them. But then I realise I know more than them about it. Yeah, I'm like, okay, so I do know a bit because I know everything you're talking about. Do you? Nice. Well, just as a practice for yourself, or just because you can't be bothered to do it? You should send him this as a project, your son. See if he can figure this one out. I'll give him 20 quid if he can. Is he? But you're going to make sure he actually passes. It's a wise decision if you do that. I wish that my parents were still around to kick me in the ass when I went to college, because I actually done a computing course for like 3 days or 3 lessons, which added up to a couple of weeks. Yeah. Yeah, and like, everyone convinced me it wasn't cool. We were learning about punch cards and, binary, stuff like that. And I was just like, oh, I already know this. This is boring. Why are we learning about punch cards? I was an idiot, 15, 16-year-old. Passed up the opportunity of a lifetime. Because I quit doing that, and then I ended up doing a maths A level and some other crap A levels like psychology or something, just because there was like a nice girl I knew going to that class. It's stupid. And then I ended up just ditching the class off, wasted a year, came back, ditched it off again. Stupid. Paying the price now. Damn it, I'm completely out of ideas. Yeah, it wasn't actually school, it was community college, like straight after GCSE. The year after, I went to do A levels, and one of them was computer science, I think it was called. But I just thought it was going to be junk, and it really wasn't. But did you have one computer? That's funny. I mean, when I was in primary school, we only had one computer. But by the time I got to secondary school, like the middle of secondary school, there was a computer room. We'd go in there occasionally. There was no other computers around. All we'd go and do is like learn how to do Word basically and filling out Excel. Awesome. I've heard that COBOL thing, but I don't know anything about it whatsoever. I know one of my older mates who's a computer scientist and also runs his own business, running networking for companies that need like multiple machines. He goes on about Ruby and COBOL. He said I should try them. That was a lot of years ago. COBOL. Is it specific? Like, yeah, he mentioned Ruby for me, but I just remember him talking about COBOL as well. He said I should go on that Ruby. This is before I knew anything. I knew a tiny bit of C++ and nothing else. And I think he suggested that Ruby on Rails, but I ignored him, even though he knows everything about computers. I went for C Sharp. I don't think he knew much about C Sharp at the time. It was brand new. I love them times. I wish I'd stuck at it. Unity was so bad back then as well. I actually downloaded Unity, but it was really not good back then. And then it's amazing to see how good it is now. I'm absolutely devastated that I can't get this working. I was at work reading my code thinking that's going to solve that. I mean, at least the first thing did work with the quick push and pop, just to stop the texture morphing. Python, yeah. Mate, I see it. I see that everywhere when I'm just browsing job boards. Not that I could ever get a job, but I browse the boards. Always see Python. Do you know why that is? Is Python just? Is it because it can be like sort of what's the word? Sort of deployed onto any other sort of script language? Is that why it's so good? I know a lot of people love Python, and I notice like it's used for a lot of plugins for apps I use and stuff like that. Yeah, that's just what I deduced as well. But I looked at Python. My friend, this is another friend that I've got online. He's only a young lad. He's from Belgium and he's really really brainy. But he's doing computer science now, brand new university course. And the first thing they got him doing was Python. But I looked at it and I just thought, well, why not just use C sharp? I didn't really get it. But yeah, it's good. Good for them. I mean, most teachers probably still don't know it. They'd have to have a specific computer science teacher, wouldn't they, to do that? Wouldn't just be a general teacher, I don't think. I'd say it's probably less than 10% of school teachers can code. But I'm just guessing. I don't know the real world anymore. I've been sat in bloody looking at a screen for donkey's years. Sometimes I've spent months and months on one problem, like for example this problem here. Imagine spending weeks and weeks just fiddling around. But someone pro could just come and show you it. They could look at it for 10 minutes. Yeah, I bet you do. Wow, I bet some of them are so clever now if they've just been learning it since a young age. If someone pointed them in the right direction, do you know what I mean, at age like 9 or something. that's that's amazing thought. Basically, just get hold of Unity. You go on the Unity forums. That's a good enough start. Or even Unreal. But Unity's even easier, isn't it? I'm just doing something weird here. Just gonna put one bullet. I bet it still does it. Yeah. But like I say, it's only when you hold the fire button. I mean, I want them to be able to hold the fire button to shoot. Because I could come up with a way of blocking. I could come up with a way of so that when they hold the fire down, it sets a value to 1. And only when it's released does it get to 0 and then it allows it. But I don't want that. the outermost X? I don't think so. I think I've already blocked that from happening, but I'll check. That is the outermost X, and it's actually fine if you're there. I'm holding right now as well. It's only if you, it's like here for some reason, and lots of places, but like obviously it's when you're crossing a character cell for some reason. Yeah, because I've got a buffer there, so you can't go over the edge. It's definitely not that, but yeah. Oh, it's so weird. I wonder if there's a way of checking in here before we spawn the bullet, of checking that we are actually dead within a character cell. That's probably the way. So we need to come up with a way of saying, is it divisible by 8? The IX2, or in fact, IY is good enough now. So let me do some pseudocode here so I don't forget it, because I think that might solve it. To do, check IY plus 1 is exactly divisible by 8, let's just say. Don't know if that's spelled right. So I'm not a mathematician. A mathematician could easily tell me the formula for that. That's a simple maths. I did do maths A level, but I quit out. And even if I did, I wouldn't remember it by now. You know? But if it's not divisible by 8, we'll return, and it won't fire. So no matter, even if we are holding the button, it will wait until we're actually in the characters. Because I'm guessing somehow it's firing when it's not in the cell. It's a stupid thing. This won't work actually. This won't work because even if I'm not moving, unless we're somehow not within the character cell there. I guess I could try it. Okay, it's funny about what you said earlier because I've got to go and take a pit stop for 20 seconds, but hopefully it'll come to me then. We'll be right back. Sadly, it didn't come to me, the solution. But we've got a value in A here, and I just want to check somehow if it's exactly in a character cell. That's all I want to do. Yeah. Damn. Make it divisible by here. This is where in modern languages I would have been able to do that in 20 seconds, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. I can't even imagine where to start on that. I mean, we can't even divide, can we? I've just realised that, you know. Alright. So A is actually like 1000 in binary. And then 16 is one up from that. But then it's 32. Wow, man. Don't know how to solve this one. I've got a feeling it's always within a character cell, isn't it? I don't know, actually. I don't think there's any easy way to do that, I'm afraid. That isn't gonna work. That isn't gonna work. It's mind-boggling. Why are they not the same? It seems to spawn okay, to be fair, then moves over there immediately afterwards, doesn't it? Yeah, gonna have to concede again. Concede defeat. For the life of me, I cannot figure out if you hold an S. It only happens when you hold an S in a certain place, and then it gives it like an offset. Doesn't move it always to the right of the screen. It offsets it by what appears to be the player's speed. Crazy. Yeah, I'll call it an end here, I think, on this one. Then I'll come back with a little bit of gaming before I go to sleep. Hopefully, when I wake up in the morning, I'm up for having a go at this. Because maybe I'll figure it out then. I've tried absolutely everything I can think of. If anyone ever watches it, feel free to direct message me if you have any ideas. Yeah, sorry to waste your time. I really wanted to I had visions that I was going to sort that out quickly. I had a bit of collision, then a score. Yeah, thanks, Moz. Once I get to that tiredness point as well, I mean, I'm literally stabbing in the dark now. I can't think of anything that could possibly cause it. I'm sure it's a push pop somewhere required. Something to do with. What happens even if you have one bullet? Yeah, I think I could sit here all night staring at it. I wouldn't get any further. So, glad to see you around again, mate. I might come up with like a, try and figure it all out next time before I do a coding video. I don't know, but I probably will log back into this one live. Try and finish off the series somehow. And double buffering, it'd be at least if I can do that, that would be something interesting to make of it. But, oh, that's cutting me that. Oh well, I'll figure it out tomorrow. Yeah, thanks for watching, Moz. Speak to you soon, mate. Thank you. Bye bye.